Hey guys, it's Steve from the Fat Life Project. Welcome to episode 4 of my mission to find the best bakery in Sydney. If you haven't been following, let me bring you up to speed real quick. Basically, I went to learn croissants in Melbourne, loved it, and became obsessed with the idea of finding an equivalent or better bakery in Sydney. I mean, I'd love to, but I cannot fly to Melbourne every single time I want a croissant, okay? So far, we've been to AP Bakery, Loads Pies and Pastries, and Tenacious Bakehouse. And it's been hard work, but somebody's gotta do it. Today, we're off to Humble Bakery, which is owned by the very same people behind some of Sydney's most popular venues, including Porteno, Bodega, and my personal favorite, Bastardo. In this video, I'm gonna be trying out their famous finger bun, as well as some of their fan favorites. And so if that sounds like your jam, well then pair that jam with some croissant and tea, sit down, relax, and join me on this food tour to Humble Bakery. Humble Bakery is the brainchild of Elvis Abrahanowicz, Milgate and Joseph Valore, who have been building a little food empire in the Surrey Hills area. This is their 4th venue, which are all within walking distance of each other along Holt Street, but unlike the aforementioned Porteno, Bodega and Bastardo, Humble is a daytime-only venue made for chilled brunch sessions, and one of the things I love the most about this venue is the decor, which stays true to its name. It honestly feels like you just walked into a humble, low-key bakery. You can in fact see the kitchen baking away if you walk in at the right time, and also shelves of baked goods, jams, etc. kind of just lying around in a disorganized manner. It is located at 50 Holt Street, and as they are located quite close to a few offices, they're actually quite busy throughout the week, as you can see here courtesy of Google. They also have another location in Circular Quay at 16 Loftus Street, which opens slightly later. Something to remember if you do decide to drop in. I went to their Surrey Hills HQ, and the smell of freshly baked goods as I walked in told me that I was in for a good time. If this is not the first Sydney bakery tour that you've seen of mine, you would already know that I always start with a plain croissant, or maybe in this case, a humble croissant. If this is your first time though, allow me to explain. I like starting out with a humble croissant because it can't hide behind any toppings or flavorings. It has to be delicious on its own. And so yeah, if a plain croissant from any bakery is delicious, then for me it means that the rest of their pastries are worth trying. This here is the humble plain croissant from Humble Bakery. As always, we start with the crunch test. And yes, I see you, that's someone who commented last week that I should be using a serrated knife, but this footage was recorded before I saw that comment, so you're just gonna have to put up with me deforming the poor old croissant for one last time. And yep, it definitely packs a strong crunch and is also obviously well made, as you can see from the bubble-like crust section here. I'm also glad to report that this croissant also passed the taste test, though I have to be honest and say that at this stage I prefer the plain croissants I tried at the other 3 bakeries prior to this, but the croissant was still delicious enough for me to see potential in their other baked goods. Besides, I couldn't exactly quit the mission now after I spotted Lamingtons. I mean, I don't know about you, but my answer is always yes to Lamingtons, and especially to Lamingtons that look like this. This Humble Bakery version is filled with mascarpone cream and raspberry jam before being coated with a chocolate ganache and coconut flakes, and you guys, this was delicious. Honestly, if I could only get one thing here next time, it would be this. But I thought that I'd circle back to another croissant, as we have to try at least 2, right? I had to make a tough choice between an almond and snail croissant, and ultimately decided to take the completely unexpected route to try the snail croissant. Humble's take on the snail croissant hits all the hallmarks of a good pastry, from that flaky outer layer to the buttery insides. And you know what? I do think I prefer this to their plain croissant. A good apple pie or apple crumble is something that I don't have very often, but when I do, I immediately wonder why I don't. This was exactly what was going through my mind when I saw this apple crumble at Humble, and so getting it was a no-brainer. You can actually taste how fresh the pastry is from the first bite, and also that apple filling is the real deal. I would say though that this was just a tad too sweet for my liking, but that's just my personal preference, and also the apple crumble was almost sold out when I got there around noon, and so I would still recommend that you get it. Speaking of pastries that are sold out, this superbly photogenic finger bun at Humble is the pastry to get here. It is the pastry that preceded the name of the bakery itself, as I saw it all over TikTok and Instagram before I even knew that it was from Humble Bakery. If you like your pastries rich and creamy, you are gonna love this. This bun is topped off with a pink cream cheese and complete with a butter slab in the middle for the maximum dose of creaminess. This is another one to add to your must-order list if you're visiting Humble Bakery for the first time. As always, I've included the names and prices of the pastries featured in this video in my description box in case you decide to get exactly what I got. But I also want to hear from you. Have you been to Humble Bakery, and if so, what are your favorites? Comment below. But also, if you've enjoyed this little food tour, I would really appreciate a like. It is absolutely free to do, but it would just help my tiny little channel out so much. This is also part 4 of my Best Bakeries in Sydney series. Do feel free to check out parts 1, 2 and 3 where I went to AP Bakery, Load Pies and Pastries and Tenacious Bakehouse respectively. I've included those videos at the end of this video so that you can go ahead and watch any of those next. I also upload fat food and travel content every Saturday, so be sure to also subscribe and turn on that bell notification so that you can start your weekend with me. If you want to see more of my Sydney-based content, do feel free to check out the Sydney playlist, which I've included in the description box. And if you got to this point of the video, I want to thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. I hope that you have a fantastic day ahead, or that you've already had a good day. As always, I will see you soon in the next video.